if I was going to be like a dictator. Oh yeah, this is a great idea. Let's do it. So I agree with that one. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Krautsalat. I am Eric, an American living in Germany. Welcome back. I hope you've been watching some of my episodes. Perhaps you've already seen that I did one talking about some German cliches. Now we're going to flip that and do some American cliches that Germans think of. I was given this list. This is going to be more of a reaction as well. I read the first one. I have not seen the rest of the list. So my reaction to German cliches of Americans. But real quick, before we get into this list, I want to thank a lot of the people that have been commenting on the videos. And a lot of you, this is a bit funny, a lot of you have been recommending this beer, Stortebecker. A lot of you have been recommending this, so I felt inclined to try it today. And it's a good one. You guys are correct. You know what you're talking about. So, cliche number one. Americans are superficial. Yeah, I have to think a little bit about this, but that's a cliche that, yeah, I can see that. I think that is based on the way that Americans can be more excited. Yeah, maybe like the Hollywood image also adds to this. I think most Americans have a more excitable personality right from the beginning. I've had some people say something like this about me. I will get really excited about something really quick, even though like maybe it's something where the outcome is not guaranteed. Where in comparison, the German would wait until the outcome is achieved and then become excited, where the American is like, oh yeah, this is a great idea, let's do it. And the German's like, okay, let's do this and then see what happens. And then get excited at the end. I will agree more with this than I can disagree. Like I think that would be a good topic of conversation amongst a group of people, because I think that would really depend on everyone's own interaction and perception. Yeah, I can see where that's possible. Maybe not necessarily a good thing. So maybe that's a message for Americans. Think about what you're doing a little bit so that your actions are perceived as being genuine. Number two, cliche number two. Americans are wasteful. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly, it's true. There's a lot of waste in America. My first thought is like, as far as like recycling and the excessive usage of like plastic. Perhaps we see I hope we see a big change of this in the future, but like something like shopping bags. You go into the grocery store and it's just like the excessive use of these plastic bags. And in comparison, here in Germany, you bring your own bag. Those plastic bags are eliminated. So you don't have that. From what I've seen, Germans are far less wasteful, although there is still a large amount of waste. The biggest thing is definitely the use of plastic, because there are more things in the US that are just single use. So use once and then it's done. Cliche number three. Americans have a hire and fire policy. This is definitely no as far as a blanket topic. The working laws change from state to state. Like, for example, I last lived in Florida, and they call it a right to work state. And there, your boss can fire you without any reason. He does not, like, if you come in one day and he doesn't like the way that you look, he can fire you. That sucks a little bit. I've actually never known anyone that had a problem with that. It puts more control into the hands of the employer. A lot of people will have to work harder, meaning they bend over a little bit farther and able to keep their job and to make their boss happy, working extra hours or stuff like that, doing things that are outside of your scope of work because you don't want to be fired. Like even coming to work when you're sick, because most Americans do not have sick time. So you have to go to work or you will be fired. That's something that can open up, a whole different topic of discussion. Americans have to prove themselves a little bit more for their job. Number 4, every American has a gun. Yeah, I can understand this cliche. It's not true. I don't know the numbers off of the top of my head. I think that's a mixture of a Hollywood stereotype and just the information that makes the news headlines, because there's so many stories about Americans and guns. Yeah, so that's not a fair cliche. Not every American has a gun. The ones that do typically let you know. They like to talk about it. For a lot of these gun owners, I do have the opinion that if you prepare for trouble, then trouble will come to you. If you're doing shit and breaking the law, then trouble's going to come to you. That's just the way it goes. So I've always kept my nose clean with stuff like that. So I didn't need a gun. So I'm fine. Number 5, everything is huge. Yeah, like big houses, big cars, big streets. I think it's Texas. Texas kind of paints this picture. Everything's bigger in Texas. I no longer understand. Like it was the life that I grew up with. Yes. So I disagreed with the last cliche. This one I agree with. Everything's got to be bigger. And I don't know why. Like that's just become the American way. The cars, the houses, everything's got to be bigger. Like bigger is better. It can also be like a major waste of money. And a lot of people don't understand that. The big house, the big yard, the big car, more cars, bigger garage. To each their own, but that is a very fair cliche. So I agree with that one. Yeah, number 6, Americans have great teeth. No, I disagree with this one. Having great teeth, maybe that's another Hollywood thing. In a lot of cases for the TV and the movies, they create this image that they want people to become. So then you start spending more money on stuff like that, like making your teeth white. I don't see that here in Germany, especially like teeth whitening stuff. Like there's so much money spent on that. Like there's so many different procedures and stuff you can buy in the store, like whitening strips and different toothpaste. Oh, this makes your teeth whiter. That's just another product to sell. So I would say no, Americans do not have better teeth, but it's something to sell. Number 7, this is an interesting one. American beer is not tasty.
Oh my God.
Yeah, American beer is generally horrible in comparison to what we have here in Germany. In my opinion, like this part of the world is where the beer was born. They've spent hundreds of years doing it right and perfecting it. So like the popular beers, no, they do not taste so well. I think because it's marketed and sold for mass consumption. I think there was times where Bud Light was the top selling beverage. They make this stuff to be sold and consumed in high quantities. So I think you can resort to the old adage of comparing quantity with quality. I would agree with that. American beer is horrible, but there are many really good American beers. You have to dig a little bit deeper, but like something like if you are a German tourist going to the US, I recommend Sam Adams. This is a good one that a lot of my German friends also really enjoyed. So let's stick with that. Like there are some good beers. Not all of them are crap. but most of them, yes, most of them are crap. Number 8, all Americans have a pool. It's common. No, not all Americans. All Americans do not have their own pool. However, this is very common. A large part of the US stays hot year round, so there's always a pool nearby. Or if you live somewhere like within the Midwest, summers can get really hot. So a lot of people might have a pool in their backyard. No, all Americans do not, but many do. I hope you all know the movie National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Like, that's a great example. Like, Clark wanted to buy the family a pool. That is what he was going to give his family for a Christmas present. A lot of the Hollywood movies do put real elements in. So, like, you can watch the movie, and despite all the stupid and funny stuff that happens, the goal that he had all of this pressure to put in a pool for his family, there's a lot of accuracy in that. Number 9, Americans do not travel. The majority, do not. I really wish that more people would travel. If I was going to be like a dictator ruling America, I would make mandatory travel. So many Americans never leave their hometown. And you really see the difference in mentality. The most notable thing to see is political stance. So I don't want to get into that, but you can typically see the way that a person's mind thinks when you have someone that never leaves their front porch compared to someone that spends half of the year traveling around the world. Unfortunately, most Americans do not travel. There is a lot of cost. Many Americans live in a way that travel is not possible, especially when you start building a big family. When you live in a big house that you can barely afford, and you have 3 or 4 kids, you have dogs, so taking a 1-month vacation is going to become impossible. I could probably make a whole different video just talking about that. So I will leave that for now, but I agree with that. Americans do not travel enough. They need to do it more. Okay, so I'm talking a lot. Let's get to number 10. Here we have the mother of all American cliches. Americans are fat. Yeah, I agree with that. A lot of that comes down to overall health and a lack of healthy activity. Most of the food that is eaten is not good. Most people do not get proper exercise. So many little things, but those 2 big ones, like junk food and improper exercise. I see thinner, fit people here in Germany than I do in the US. US, you got to tighten up, work on your diet, slim down that gut, get a little exercise, and you will live a longer, healthier life. There we go. Some cliches that Germans think of Americans and my reaction. So if you have some other thoughts onto that, leave a comment and let me know. And until next time, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and I'll see you then. Bye, Robin.